بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. My dear brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. As the month of Ramadan comes to a conclusion, one of the things that we should do is to think about, to ponder upon many of the teachings that we have inside of the Quran and Sunnah. And one such issue is the issue of shirk. And we know in general the idea of shirk, of worshiping something other than God or worshiping something in addition to God, giving God a partnership. Now, there are subtle forms of shirk, and we have a very clear hadith of the Prophet ﷺ in which he talks about that, about the black ant on a black rock in the black night. But there is yet another issue. There is another aspect of this. And to understand that, we go to the Quran, in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, أتى أمر الله فلا تستعجلوه سبحانه وتعالى عما يشركون. This is the beginning of Surah Al-Nahl. Allah says that the affair of God is coming. Do not seek to hasten it. Subhanahu wa ta'ala amma yushrikun. Allah is above that which they associate with Him. And in other words, Allah is above the shirk that is associated with Him. So, what does this mean here? The pattern is given in this verse. فَلَا تَسْتَعْجِلُوا. It shows us that the idea that a person can somehow push Allah or force Allah to do something, that this is an action or an idea of shirk. That somehow we can push God. In this instance, Amrullah, the Mufassirun say, it references Judgment Day. And this is what happens in the world. Certain political parties are supported. Certain political agendas are supported because there is this idea that it will force the return of Jesus, alayhi salam, for example. But Allah says that this attitude is shirk. The attitude is shirk. It is an example of shirk, in that somehow we are elevating our ability. We have a self delusion that we can somehow force God's hand. So being a Muslim, being a muwahid, should help us to understand that Inna Allah ala kulli shay'in qadir, that Allah has power over all things. And so if Allah has power over all things, we should not believe that we have the ability to somehow impose our will upon the will of Allah. وَمَا تَشَاءُونَ إِلَّا أَن يَشَاءَ اللَّهُ رَبُّ الْعَالَمِينَ. So, do consider these words. Do consider the words of the Quran with regards to things within our own life and within our own surroundings. There is a certain amount of self-agency that we have, yes. But remember that at the end of the day, we cannot force Allah. Rather, the only thing we can do is to seek to submit to the will of Allah and have faith that whatever Allah has willed, that this is the best outcome in it. Anyway, as the Quran says, وَمَا تَشَاءُونَ إِلَّا أَن يَشَاءَ اللَّهُ رَبُّ الْعَالَمِينَ. It says, do not will except what Allah wills, who is the Lord of the worlds. And Allah also reminds us, وَيَمْكُرُونَ وَيَمْكُرُ اللَّهُ وَاللَّهُ خَيْرُ الْمَاكِرِينَ. He says that there are people who make plots, but Allah also plotting. And Allah is the best of those who plot, meaning that nothing can go against whatever the divine will is. Barakallahu feekum. Wassalamu alaikum.